Hello and welcome to In Case You Missed It, This Week in Healthcare. This is a spooky day. This is Halloween, October 31st. And I wanted to start by covering the thing we've started every one of these with for the last little while, is a refresh of what the government shutdown is about and what it's not about. So the government shutdown really hinges on the enhanced Obamacare subsidies that came into effect late in 2021. Those are set to expire at the end of the year. This is not impacting employer-sponsored coverage. I'm getting a lot of those questions. If this is only impacting those individuals who buy insurance through the exchanges, either through the state or federally based insurance exchanges. So for those of you with employer-sponsored healthcare, you are not part of what the news stories that you're hearing. Speaking of the shutdown, Trump is urging Senate GOP leadership to use the nuclear option and eliminate the filibuster so they can get in and open the government back up with a simple majority. This nuclear option is highly unpopular with the traditionalists, and count Senate Majority Leader John Thune as one of them. He does not want to use this filibuster to eliminate the filibuster approach, although this has happened on both sides of the aisle over the years. It is an indication of just how desperate things are getting in DC. Also related to the shutdown, SNAP benefits are at risk. So the Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program that serves 40 million Americans had an additional 30 days of funding after the shutdown. That's scheduled to end tomorrow. A federal judge stepped in today and said the Trump administration must still provide funding for this, but gave them until Monday to come up with a formal plan. Back to the insurance rates. We've talked a lot about the subsidies and what that would look like at individual states. Well, residents of the 30 states that are using healthcare.gov, the federal marketplace, are seeing on average a 26% rate increase for the average 2026 ACA plan. In the other states, they're seeing closer to a 17%. So these are the states that have their state-based exchange. They're seeing a little bit lower of a rate hike. But still, you're going to hear all these stories from all these places about different increases that are happening. In New Jersey, we're seeing 175% increases. In Colorado, 101%. In Maryland, who's spending some government money to reduce these prices, they're still seeing a 30% rate increase. In California, Governor Newsom has signed into law Senate Bill 530. This takes important steps to help people enrolled in Medi-Cal managed care plans, making sure they have the access to providers they need. So Medi-Cal, this is the low-income health insurance program. What's been happening over the years is any Medi-Cal plans, they are required to have a certain number of providers in the geographic area to serve the residents and the people that are participating in their Medi-Cal program. Of course, as budgets have tightened, they've gotten a little loose on these restrictions, and we're finding a lot of Medi-Cal patients living in areas where they just do not have a reasonable distance to travel to find a provider. So Senate Bill 530 steps in and reinforces some of these rules on Medi-Cal plans, so they cannot use the alternative access standard request that they've made in the past, which says, hey, we have telehealth for people to call into, even though they still might be 30, 40, 50 miles away from their nearest doctor that takes Medi-Cal. So this will go a long way to protect the 14 million Californians that are on Medi-Cal so that they have access and a reasonable distance to travel to get care. Senate Bill 729 is something we've talked about. This is in California, the expansion of infertility benefits. This is mandatory in companies that are enrolled in fully insured products as a large group, so that's more than 100 employees. Employers that have 100 or fewer, they're small group plans or your self-insured level funded plans. If you're on any one of these plans, it is not a mandated benefit, although you can add it to it. In small group, it depends on the insurance company you're with, but you can add the infertility rider. You're looking at plus 2.5% to up to 5%, depending on the insurance company. This is on top of regular medical trend. All right. So while this is a fantastic benefit, it is just putting more upward pressure on rates. In addition to the additional covered benefits, there is a broadening of the definition of infertility and who it includes. So I'll read from the list here to give you guys an idea of what we're looking at here. So it is up to a licensed physician findings based on medical, sexual, reproductive history, age, physical findings, and diagnostic testing. Also, the inability to reproduce without medical intervention, including LGBTQ plus individuals or single persons. If you're having recurrent pregnancy loss, you can be eligible for this. And then a failure to establish or carry a pregnancy or live birth after regular unprotected intercourse. for 12 months for those under 35, and for 6 months for those over 35. So for those of you that are looking to start an infertility journey, I would start with your HR director. Talk to your broker. Does our insurance include this as of January 1st, 2026? And if so, you can look into this expanded access of who qualifies. Thanks so much, and look forward to see you guys next week.